What is up, everybody? This is All Things Entertaining here, bringing you with a brand new video, and today we have more at Ignace Tur cards coming out of Ignition Assault, and they are quite some of the spicy cards here. So we have quite a few here, so let's just jump right into it, because I don't want this video to be terribly long, but, you know, let's just go right into what we're going to be talking about today. This is Vicari at Ignace Tur. It's a level 4 light cyber effect monster with 1200 attack and 600 defense. You can only use each effect of this card once per turn. It has two effects. The first effect is if this card is normal or special summon, you can add one AI spell or trap from your deck to your hand. This is pretty good. It allows you to just straight up Stratos out your spell and traps, which is always really, really good. The second effect is you could target one at Ignace Tur monster you control that has a level. Its level becomes 4 until the end of the turn. That's pretty good. I'm not sure if this will have this deck has any Exceed monsters, but we'll get into that if it does. But this does help you qualify for some pretty interesting rank 4 plays, so pretty good. Next we have Bururu at Ignace Tur. It's a level 3 Wind Cyberus Tuner effect monster with 600 attack and 1000 defense. You can only use each effect of this card once per turn again. If this card is normal summon or a special summon, you can send one at Ignace Tur monster from your deck to your graveyard. So having that ability to just tutor out one of your at Ignace Tur monsters to the graveyard, it seems pretty good. It's built into a tuner, so it's even more plus, so I think this is just overall very good. The second effect is if this card is sent from the set to the graveyard as material for a synchro summon of a Cyberus monster, you could target one monster in your graveyard that was used for that material of the synchro monster, except Bururu, and special summon it. So basically it allows you to plus up the fact that you're inherently going minus off of your Cyber synchro summons, and it's for any Cyber synchro monster. So if we ever get like a really good one that does a lot of stuff in the future, you could very well see this be played in that deck just to special summon it. It's pretty good. So yeah. Next we have Doyan at Ignace Tur. It's a level 4 Dark Cyberus effect monster with 400 attack and 1600 defense. If this card is normal or special summon, you can target one at Ignace Tur monster from your graveyard, add it to your hand. So based on this effect alone, you're probably going to be playing this as like a 1 or a 2 of, just to recur some of your lost cards, like whatever card you dumped with Bururu, or if you even want to even do that, just like add some of your other deck cards just to add a little bit of synergy, like Vicari, or maybe this card that we're going to talk about in a minute. The second effect is if this card is sent to the graveyard as a material for a link summon of a Cyberus monster, you can target one AI spell or trap card and add it to your hand. So this is for the link summon of any Cyberus monster, so that's pretty good and allows you to reoccur some of your spell and traps, which might actually be important. We'll see how that plays out. Next we have a Chi-Chi at Ignace Tur. It's a level 2 Fire Cyberus effect monster with 800 attack and 800 defense. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add one level 4 or lower Ignace Tur monster from your deck to your hand, except this card. So that's pretty good. It allows you to just go ahead and just freely tutor out one of your cards, and it allows and if you have nothing better to do with this with the rest of this archetype, this card is actually a play starter for the deck, so it's pretty good. If a battle involves a Cyberus monster you control at the start of the damage step, you can banish this card from your graveyard, destroy your battling monster. I'm not sure how this will play into the rest of the archetype. This seems like it's a kind of a mediocre effect. Then again, it's an optional effect, but I'm not entirely sure what we're going to be seeing from this particular effect. So we'll just have to wait and see how this is utilized. But overall, this card's actually pretty good. And we have this card. This is Doshin at Ignace Tur. It's a level 1 Earth Cyberus effect monster with 100 attack and 800 defense. If you control an at Ignace Tur monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. So basically, if you just normal summon your Fire Cyberus monster, you can, or at Chi-Chi, you can search out this card and get a free Link 2, which allows you to do some cool shenanigans with that. That's pretty cool. The second effect is you could target one Cyberus Link monster in your graveyard, return it to the extra deck, and if you do, add one AI Love Fusion from your deck to your hand. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm not sure. So they're getting a fusion monster, obviously, but we'll jump into that when we get into that card. But this card is also pretty good. There's no really hard stipulation. There's no hard stipulation on this card, except that it has to be once per turn. So if you do just have 2 of these in your hand, you can just normal summon one, then special summon this card. So it's pretty decent. And next we have Vicari at Ignace Tur. It's a level 1 Cyberse effect monster with 300 attack and 400 defense. If you control an at Ignace Tur monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. Another pretty good card already. The second effect is you contribute one other Cyberse monster, add 1 level 5 or higher at Ignace Tur monster from your deck to your hand, and if you do, this card's level becomes 4 until the end of the turn. Then, if you attributed a link monster to activate this effect, you can add 1 AI's Ritual from your deck to your hand. So this card just has a lot of value going for it. I'm not sure if we're actually about to talk about the Ritual monster, but I'm not entirely sure how the Ritual monster plays into this entire archetype. This card allows you to search it for basically free, so that's pretty good. And the fact that you can just summon it also for free, just to combo off, it seems for this like this is turning out to be a very good archetype. Regardless, I think even if you don't intend to use the Ritual monster, if the Ritual just is actually really bad, I think you play this because of the first effect. You play this card and this card for their effects. Both cards are not that good. So, but we're just gonna go right into that one right now. This is Water Leviathan at Ignace Tur. It's a level 7 Water Cyberse Ritual effect monster with 2300 attack and 2000 defense. We have to use this with AI Ritual, and you can only use the second effect once per turn. The first effect is if this card is Ritual Summoned, you can return all monsters your opponent controls with 2300 or less attack to their hand. That's going to be a lot of monsters. Granted, it's not going to be every monster, so it's kind of a wishy-washy sort of effect. It is pretty good. It's not a hard once per turn, which is kind of interesting. So if your opponent just has like those resilient monsters or just keeps special summoning it to your board, you can be the Mad Lad and waste all your resources and just summon this card over and over again and just like keep bouncing your opponent's cards. It's kind of crazy. The second effect is you could target one face-up monster your opponent controls, return that from your I'm gonna reread this. You can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, return from your graveyard or extra deck as many link monsters as possible, and if you do, the targeted monster's attacks become 0. So that's pretty interesting. It allows you to recur some of your link monsters, as well as make sure that you can deal some damage. So it's not bad. Once per battle, third effect, once per top battle, if this card battles an opponent's monster during damage calculation, you can have that opponent's monster's attack during the damage calculations only, making this card really annoying to attack into, so you kind of just have to remove it. This card basically could have said this card cannot be destroyed by battle, and that's basically what it is right here, because generally speaking, if your opponent's going to swing into this with like any monster, they're going to risk killing their own monster, so it's pretty good. Next we have this fusion card here. It has 3 effects again. The third effect is only once per turn. This card is Earth Golem at Ignace Tur. It's a level 7 Earth Cyberse Fusion effect monster with 2300 attack and 2000 defense. The first effect is after this card is fusion summoned, you take no damage for the rest of the turn. It's alright. The second effect is if this card attacks a monster special summon from the extra deck, this card gains attack equal to its original attack during the damage step only. So it basically just says this card will basically run over anything and your opponent will take 300 points of damage. So it's pretty good. The third effect, this is the hard once per turn effect, is when this card is destroyed by battle, you can target one Cyberse monster in your graveyard except Earth Golem and Ignace Tur. Special summon it. So yeah, that's actually kind of cool. If it just happens to get run over by your opponent's card, which probably is going to happen because this card is only 2300 attack, it's going to just recurge itself. So this is not bad. It's also not a bad super poly target because it's pretty generic. One link monster plus one Cyberse monster. It's pretty good. The next one here we have Winged Pegasus at Ignace Tur. It's a level 7 Wind Cyberse Synchro effect monster with 2300 attack and 1500 defense, and it requires one tuner plus one or more non-tuners, so it is generic. You can only use both effects once per turn. The first effect is during the main phase, you could destroy spell or traps your opponent controls up to the number of Ignace Tur monsters you control. So this card's basically a heavy storm. That's pretty cool. If you just go hard in and you just are the Mad Lad and you have like 4 cards, that's basically Heavy Storm, so it's pretty good. The second effect is if another card you control is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect while this card is on your field or in the graveyard, you can banish this card and then target one card your opponent controls, shuffle it into the deck. That's pretty good. So basically, it says it basically gives you it gives you a 1-for-1 by banishing this card. It gives you a bit of a stun utility card here. It's pretty good. Next, we have a field spell, Ignace Tur AI Land field spell. Like I said, you can only use the second effect once per turn. The first effect, if you control no monsters in your main monster zone, you can activate this effect. For the rest of the turn, you cannot special summon monsters except Cyberse monsters, even if this card leaves the field. Also, special summon one level 4 or lower Igneous monster from your hand, and if you do, you cannot special summon monsters with its original attribute by this effect. By the effect of this card for the rest of the turn, even if this card leaves the field. So it gives you a lot of utility. It allows you to make your synchro. Allows you to make your ritual. It gives you the ability to make your fusion pretty easily. So that's not bad actually. It does lock you into not summoning that other card for the rest of the turn with this, at least with the same attribute. So if you special summon the wind guy, you cannot special summon the wind guy. So that's kind of interesting how it's a unique restriction at the very least. The second effect is if this card is in your graveyard, but you can banish one Ignace Tur monster from your graveyard and set this card to your field. So yeah, just free recursion. Next we have AI. We have AI Idling Born. I guess that's how you say that. It's a quick play spell. First and second effect once per turn, or hard once per turn. You can target one Ignace Tur monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Also for the rest of the turn, this card. After this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters except Cyberse monsters. That's basically just a free monster you want. It's a free extender. That's pretty good. When an attack is declared involving two monsters, you can banish this card from your graveyard and one card from your hand, and then target one AI spell or trap card in your possession that is banished or in the graveyard, except this card added to your hand. So just free recursion for your other AI spell and trap cards, so it's pretty good. Next we have AI Love Fusion. It's the fusion card. That has only one effect. You can only activate one card with this name once per turn. Fusion summon one Cyberse monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or on the field as fusion materials. If you use an Ignace Tur monster in your position as fusion material, you can also use up to one link monster your opponent controls as fusion materials. That's pretty good. It just absorbs one of your opponent's link monsters. And the last card, we have AI's Ritual. Choose one Cyberse Ritual monster in your hand, and if you do, tribute other Ignace Tur monsters from your hand or and or field whose total level equals or exceeds the chosen monster's level of that. After that, ritual summon the chosen monster. If you control an Ignace Tur monster at activation, you can also use Ignace Tur monsters from your graveyard by banishing them. So it allows you to just freely summon this card. It's very easy to summon all these cards actually. From what I've seen, this card just makes the synchro pretty easy by just special summoning Vicari or the Doyon. And then you just normal summon the level 4 guy or the level 3 guy, and then you get the free Bull Foolish, but then you just go into the synchro. I probably missed out on the link monsters, but you know, it's pretty good so far. I think if we just knew about these cards, this would be shaping out to be a pretty awesome archetype. So yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, please leave a comment in the comment section down below. I will see you guys in the next video. This has been All Things Entertaining, signing out.